Usually on this channel, I'm a big proponent of play whatever you want. Commander is all about playing your favorite cards, and it really doesn't matter. But there's one card that I think is way overplayed. Like, there's no justifiable reason for it, and it sees so much play. And that card is Arcane Denial. Normally, this wouldn't be an issue for me, because I really like playing bad cards. I fill my decks with terrible cards like Implement of Improvement and Goblin Tunneler because it fits whatever jank theme that I have. But Arcane Denial isn't played as like a quirky, fun, ooh, this is a goofy bad card. According to EDH Rec, Arcane Denial is in 19% of possible decks it could go in. That is immense. That's 1 in 5 decks that have blue in their color identity are playing this card. That's an absurd amount. For a card to be played that much, it would have to be an absolute staple, a true powerhouse, but it's not. Arcane Denial is an abysmally bad counterspell, and I think this is what really gets me about it, because people think it's good. I'm going to talk about a few of the reasons why people think Arcane Denial is good and why they're wrong. One, people say is, oh, the mana cost. The mana cost. Blue for counterspell is too much, too difficult to cast. But I find this argument like really silly. Unless you're in like a 5 or 4 color deck, hitting double of one of your colors shouldn't be that difficult. Especially because in casual play, you don't really need the counterspell on like turn 2 or 3 or 4 that often. You're probably not casting it until turn 5 onward. And if you're in a 2 color deck, you definitely should have double of your colors that are in your deck by turn 5 onward. Even in 3 colors, like if you can't cast a blue spell by turn 6, you need to look at your mana base, not the counterspells you're playing. And then other people say, oh, it's because it's a friendly counterspell. But like, unless your opponent looks like this, like, why? What's the issue? It's just a spot removal spell. If you freak out because somebody cast a counterspell, I don't think Commander is the game for you. It's just a game. And yes, I do understand the irony of saying it's just a game and then making an online video ranting about it, but you know, whatever. But the biggest reason by far is the card disadvantage argument. People say this all the time. They say, oh, counterspell is so much card disadvantage, this draws you a card, therefore it must be better. But the math does not check out in any regard. Let's start with a simple example. You cast a spell, I cast counterspell. You lose a card, I lose a card. You and I are now even, both -1 cards in total. Counterspell is card disadvantage, but it puts your opponent on parity. Now, let's go to the Arcane Denial example. You cast spell, I cast Arcane Denial, I then draw a card, you draw 2 cards. You're at net +1, I'm at net 0. So, instead of being on parity, you're now ahead of me. How is this better? This is why Arcane Denial doesn't really see play in 1v1 formats. People play Counterspell, not Arcane Denial in Legacy. Yes, I know Popper Turbo Fog does sometimes play Arcane Denial, but that was like a flash in the pan kind of thing. The deck has literally fallen out of the format, and it does not see any other play. But then people tell me, oh, well, you have to account for your other opponents in Commander. It's totally different than 1v1. You know, each other opponent is getting +1 card when you cast a spot removal spell because they got the advantage without spending a card. And while I agree with this, and that's why spot removal generally is actually kind of bad in Commander overall, including counterspells, this doesn't change the math on Arcane Denial being bad. Like, adding 2 to both sides of an equation doesn't actually do anything. It doesn't change the overall. In the counterspell example, if I add the 2 from my other opponents, I'm at -1 and my opponents collectively are at +1, a variance of 2. In the Arcane Denial example, I'm at +0 and my opponents are now at +3 collectively, a variance of 3. It doesn't change the math at all. Arcane Denial still causes card disadvantage. I cannot see a real reason to play this card. It honestly doesn't even make it into my top 30 counterspells. Played a Baral deck once with 27 counterspells, and Arcane Denial did not make the cut at all. I just cannot play a counterspell or removal spell that causes card disadvantage. And the crazy thing is, this card is $4. It's not like an ultra budget card or anything. Please do not spend any amount of money on Arcane Denial. I could understand maybe if it was like 10 cents oh, it's really cheap, you can put it in an ultra budget deck, but it's not even a budget card. Okay, so you say, hey, it's got some upsides, it counters anything, but card disadvantage is such a huge issue in Commander. And the reason for this is card quality in Commander is really, really, really high. Giving your opponents 2 cards could be the end of the game. Individual cards in Commander have so much power. Not just with tutors like Demonic Tutor, Vamp Tutor, but 2-card combos. Kiki Resto Angel, Thassa's Oracle Consultation, just Dockside and anything else. Craterhoof Behemoth and anything else. Individual cards can lose you the game so easily. So here's a few counterspells I think are straight up better than Arcane Denial, and they're all cheaper as well. For counterspell, Negate, Dovin's Veto, An Offer You Can't Refuse, Unwind, Mystic Confluence, Delay, Disallow. Honestly, Saw It Coming is better than Arcane Denial, and in many cases, Stubborn Denial. I think all of these are significantly better than Arcane Denial, and I can't see a reason to play the card. If you've made it to the end of my unhinged ramblings, let me know what you think in the comments below. Am I totally wrong about Arcane Denial? Have I convinced you that it's garbage? Because I really hope that I've done that. Also, do you like this less scripted, more rant style video? Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, subscribe for more.